you doing? Welcome to CPAC. Are you excited to be here? Especially in a presidential year. You know, I'm loving this election, aren't you? It is all about change. It is about sending a message to D.C., and it is about getting this nation back on track. And what I really like about it is people are kind of going back to school on politics. I have constituents who are reading the Constitution, watching the debates with their families, and most importantly of all, the people are the teachers this year, and elected officials are the students. And this is what they're teaching us. They're tired of being taken for granted. They're tired of failure. They have expectations, and those expectations are not being met. And they want us to stop the talking and get to work on the big things. You know, things like preserving faith, family, freedom, hope, opportunity. Those things that Thomas Jefferson wrote a lot about, like the self-evident truths. You know, he turned often to philosopher John Locke. And Locke wrote so well about the purpose of the law. This is what he said. The purpose of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. Now think about that in terms of what is happening in Washington, D.C. Do we really think that Washington is preserving and enlarging freedom when we pass a $1 trillion Obamacare bill? Do we think that Washington is preserving freedom when Christian bakers are forced to cater a gay wedding against their moral principles? Do we think that you enlarge freedom when you have an executive who seizes power through executive orders and ignores Congress and ignores the will of the people? You're right. The answer is absolutely not. But it's so amazing to me that Washington wonders why we, the people, are angry. It's like establishment Washington doesn't get it, but I think you and I could build out a list for why the American people are so angry. How about we've not had a balanced budget amendment in 15 years, and it is time for one. Some years we spend more than $1 trillion than we take in. We've got $19 trillion worth of debt. It is growing. We have regulations that are closing all sorts of businesses, and we have bureaucracies that are going in, and they're raiding guitar factories in Tennessee because they don't like the wood that they're using. In California, they're out here regulating backyard barbecues to see how it affects ozone. And the EPA's out there trying to get rid of 50-cent light bulbs and $100 ceiling fans. These people have too much time and too much money on their hands, and it is time to rein them in. This is why people are angry. It's righteous angry. And it's good. It motivates. It wields power. Americans are sick of seeing their country full of evil and injustice. And thank goodness they're going to do something about it. You know, I think we have a great story in the Bible about righteous anger. Jesus in the temple, he saw what was happening. He went in, he threw out the merchants and the peddlers. He cleansed that sacred place of the immoral. Washington, D.C. needs a good cleansing. So does the White House, and we need to get rid of all the special interests, all of the lobbyists, and return this government to being a government of, by, and for the people of the United States. Now, when I was growing up, my mother would say, you can sit there and get mad, or you can get up and get busy. And I think that we, the people, have to get busy. We need to get busy on a few basic things, like honoring the rule of law. And how do you honor the rule of law? You enforce it. You don't honor the rule of law when you have millions of illegal aliens and millions of tons of drugs and sex traffickers and human traffickers promoting human slavery coming across that southern border. You don't honor the rule of law when you do not build a wall and secure the southern border. And you do not honor the rule of law when you continue to allow Syrian refugees to come into this country. You know, another thing people want us to get busy on is security. How many of you took Latin in school? Anybody? I'm glad to see those hands out there. I took Latin for 4 years and still can't speak a foreign language. But as we were looking at security, I went back to the Latin root. You know what it is? Securus is the Latin root of the word security. You know what it means? Free from care. Free from care. In this election year, 3 issues: national security, jobs and economic security, retirement security. They're the top issues. Think about security and being free from care. When we talk about national security, that we don't have to worry about ISIS infiltrating our country. We don't have to worry about our military recruiting centers being shot up, or shopping centers being shot up, or Christmas parties having terrorists come in. That's what national security means. Jobs and economic security, that we're not going to have to worry where the paycheck comes from, or that we're going to have a government agency coming in and padlocking our business. Or retirement security, that the money we've paid into Medicare and Social Security, all of our work in life, is going to be there when we retire. There are some things that Congress could and should be doing to jumpstart this. How about repealing Obamacare, passing a balanced budget amendment, stabilizing our trust funds, securing our southern border, ending the president's executive amnesty, getting rid of the Iran deal, and making sure that we cut the federal bureaucracy. All of those are first steps. Now, the question always becomes, how do you get this done? Couple of things. Number one, an attitude adjustment for this country. We are the greatest country on the face of the earth. We are the United States of America. We are founded in freedom. And we need to go back to having that can-do attitude. When I was in college, I bought my first car with money I'd made that summer. It was a bright blue Ford LTD. It was ugly as it could be. And I loved it. I named that car Can Do because I thought I can do anything I set my mind to. That is the American dream. And that is what we need to restore. Another thing, we're not going to make this happen without you. Gallup asked several thousand Americans if they believed what they saw in the evening news. 70% said no, they don't believe it. But then look at this. They're watching ABC, which is all about Clinton, NBC, which is nothing but Clinton, CBS, which is the Clinton BS network. So there you go. But you know who they do believe? They believe you. The YOU is the most effective name in news. Third thing, we need legislators and a president of the United States that understands their purpose. Their purpose is to preserve liberty, to protect the Constitution, and to pass on this great nation. Abraham Lincoln said a great thing that we all should remember. America can never be destroyed from outside. If we falter and if we lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. So let's get busy. Let's get our attitude right. Let's get our networks together. Let's talk to our friends. Let's make certain that we, the people, rise up, we take our country back, and we do our share to pass along faith, family, freedom, hope, and opportunity to the next generation. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.